Can you hear me now, guys? Can you hear me now? There we go. Can you hear me now, guys? So we're good. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. So we're back in the game. Cool, 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 cool. All right. So sorry about that, guys. New tech, running with the new MacBook here, and it is, I think we're getting it worked out. I might be a little loud, but we'll get all that worked out. So guys, what I'm going to do tonight is we're just going to kind of surf around, and we're going to, I don't know, we might troll a little bit. We might do a lot of things tonight. But what we certainly are going to do, we're going to start out. Has everyone seen the miscarriages of justice video? That is later. Don't remind me. That is going to. We want a new tab. Boom. All right. So that is going to. Yeah. Everyone's seen the miscarriage of justice, guys. Let's check that out for just a minute. So this is the miscarriage of justice, guys. Yes, and the case was dismissed. I just want to kind of preface it and start out the chat. Now, this gentleman here, he also, this guy here, he was acquitted of some stuff too in the same case. I mean, it just was really effed off since the onset. Thank you, Shayna. Thank you. Here it is, guys. Let's. Oops, pardon me. I just want you to hear a little bit of this, okay?
Or perhaps intimidate a suspect. When we showed Detective Lou Scarcella the interrogation tape, he was much more familiar with the strategy than he was with the machine.
I personally thought it was a ruse. Using a tool to deceive the individual, which is beautiful as far as I'm concerned. I had no idea what this machine was.
Before giving the truth verification test, Detective McDonough actually works together with Michael to formulate the questions.
What are some things we want to learn here, do you think?
So what he's doing here, guys, is actually highly illegal. This sort of interrogation process is now entirely illegal to perform. Just so you have it, you got a clear understanding of that.
You know how she died.
Soon the test questions are agreed upon, and McDonough asks Michael to sign a form declaring he's about to take the test voluntarily.
So his mother's not even present.
You've now been sucked into a
process. He's not of an age to consent about anything, so he can't sign that.
As long as you let it roll forward.
So Michael's interrogation continues. All the while, his parents assume he's being looked after at a children's shelter, unaware he is in police custody.
They just kept grilling and grilling and grilling. And to think that we were at home, not even knowing he was near the police station. If we would have known, we would have been there.
Now, however, Michael seems almost relieved to be cooperating and submits readily to the voice stress analyzer.
Are you sitting down? Yeah. Do you know who took Stephanie's life? Yeah. Is today Thursday? Yes. Did you take Stephanie's life? No.
8 minutes later, the truth exam is complete.
Let me go over these charts, and I'll be back here in a couple minutes, okay?
All right, guys. So let me start out by saying, unless I've missed something, Mr. McDonough is not certified to be doing any sort of testing of that nature. Now, not only that, but what we're talking about is a voice stress analyzer. Let me ask you guys, how many of you out here, new school, old school, whatever, haunted? They have been doing it for decades, but they can't do it anymore. It's illegal. That's why every interview has to be recorded. Now, the feds, they do not have to record interviews, as they believe that the camera changes the dynamic. But on the state level, they all have to be videoed. It's a direct violation of the child's rights, and rape. Not only that, but also a direct violation of the parents' rights. So it's a violation all the way around. I want to just go a little bit further into that, if you guys don't mind.
When we come back, what will the voice stress exam reveal? It is 4 p.m. Thursday, January 22nd, 1998, and 14-year-old Michael Crow of Escondido, California, is in the midst of a 4-hour interrogation at police headquarters without an attorney or his parents present. His younger sister, Stephanie, was found murdered at home the day before, and investigators suspect.
Daisy, what we want is for this guy to stop. I think that's pretty clear, isn't it, Miss Kennedy? That's what we want, is for him to stop. Actually, guys, everyone in the chat, Lizzie, the wonderful Lizzie, she came up with the great idea of starting a petition. We want to start a petition that is going to, the name of it is going to be something loosely like stop the solicitation and exploitation of crimes against children. That is just, I mean, that's what we want, Daisy. He's not going to, I get it. But you guys, there's also, there is yeah, police off the cuff, they should be appalled. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is, let me go over here. I think we've all seen enough of that, right? So, unfortunately, I'm not even signed into this new computer yet. So we're gonna go here. Now, this is part of the good news today. I was reached out to by a young lady who is a real badass in the legal world. And she's got some contacts that are high up, and we are going to start trying to make some traction happen in the way of legislation for a Summer Wells bill, which will stop the exploitation and solicitation of crimes committed against children. So it's going to be a dynamic thing, I hope. You know, we're all. We've got our fingers crossed. You know, we want to fight. We don't want to fight. We wish that there would be no fight, but we will fight all the way. You know, we'll fight tooth and nail to get to Washington, D.C. About this here. This just has to be a thing. Now, this is the original piece that that Voices Behind the Wall posted earlier today, and it was on point. It was on time. I liked the way that they really were able to kind of drop this in and get this number of views real quick right before all the melee started. Now this is something that I know everyone has seen, and I think a lot of people, they focus on just this part right here. And I'm going to get to the questions, guys. I really am. But this part right here is what people really focus on. Okay. Now, if you click on it and you zoom it in here, what you're going to find is down here at the bottom. Thank you for clarifying that. He has continually said he is working with Dave Roush and has insider information that police were at the home before Don Wells arrived, and it's yada, 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 yada. So, you know, we've got this. I don't know how Twitter works, but I'm assuming that these questions were asked and that this is the reply. So, again, like I said before, this right here, this statement is a dual-edged sword. They are telling everyone individually that no, you know, stop asking us. Mr. McDonough is not working with us, and we did not further. They went further by saying we did not request his assistance. Now, this is also speaking directly to Mr. McDonough. This isn't for just everyone else except for Mr. McDonough. This is for him specifically. You haven't heard TBI Leslie talk about anyone else except for generically talking about the fortune tellers, I like to call them, but they haven't asked, you know, anyone else to stop doing what we're doing, right? You know, there's a Cher right there. I just like Cher, and I like Prairie Boy too. They're just cool cats. So all the channels are, but Chris is making a killing. Let me show you real quick, guys. And this is no BS. You know, a lot of people say, Benny, why do you hide your info about your channel? So all the stuff that I go through, CPS calls, just the whole gauntlet. Look right here. Can you see that? I don't put my subscribers out there. I got 3,600 subscribers. This is what I've made this month so far. $340. Does that seem like it's for the money? No, this is a labor of love, right? This here is a labor of love. So, you know, can't stop, won't stop. Prairie Boy. Yeah. Prairie Boy is a real genuine thing. Let me ask you guys, makes you wonder why Mike, hey, Melly Mel, Mike split with him on profile. Yeah. M. Ray, I'm here from AB2. Haha. Thank you, Wildflower. So let me ask you guys, is anyone interested in, I can drop a link. Is anyone interested in coming up and 174,000 for Chris in 4 days? Yeah. I mean, that's just, would anyone like to pop up in the chat and, you know, get your shit off, whatever? Melly Mel. Thank you, Shayna. I'll drop the chat, or I'll drop the link in the chat. And if you guys would like to pop up, what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and hit this link. Follow the instructions before you come on. I would, but I'm in the bubble bath. You don't have to show your face, Kate. You can just show me your face before you come on. That way I know you're not going to porn bomb me. Here we go. Amy Lou. Hey, that's cool too. That's cool too. I'm going to pin it in the top here. LOL. Yeah, Kate, no, seriously, just, you know, you don't have to turn the camera around. You can just show me your face in the tub, I promise. Simply Wicked, come on up. Everyone is invited. Come on up. I want everyone to come up that would like to come up. And we will, yeah, it is a mess. It's a real mess. Yes, backstage. Yes. Yes, Kate. Yeah. I've pinned the link in the top of the chat there. Yeah, anybody, if you want to jump on up. Now, the other part of what Haunted May, stop that, girl. Stop that. Girl, I'm ugly as sin. That's why I'm hiding in the dark right now. Hold on. And it's hot. Look, I'm sweaty because I can't be out here all emotional and talking loud. I'll wake my wife up. She'll be pissed. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you. It's at the top of the chat if you want to jump in. Thank you so much, Cassandra. Let me text my teammate. Not a girl. Well, dude, your picture is so small here. I'm sorry. Hey, Shanti. Man, you know what? Like, your picture is like the size of a pinky nail on here. I can't see dick. Good morning. I apologize, Haunted. You should broadcast from the bubble bath shit. But I'm in New Zealand. Man, we don't care about that. Wildflower, thank you, ma'am. It is hot as sin. I'm sorry, Haunted. Again, I if it's not a name that, I know already or someone I know already, I appreciate you popping in, sir. I really do. I just can't hardly see anything. You're an attractive man that I missed. that I confused for a woman. So if that counts for anything, New Zealand is in the house. New Zealand is in the house. So I guess, oh yeah, we got somebody right here. Simply Wicked.
Hey, can you hear me?
How are you?
I'm good. Just give me 1 second. I got you on the TV. I don't know if you can hear it in the back.
Speak up maybe just a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now, sweetie.
Okay. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Pop your shit. Tell me what's on your mind.
I've just been watching everything that's going on, and to be honest with you, the two that I'm paying attention with this whole thing that actually got my attention for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
Is Behind the Wall and you guys, you and Chasing Truth. The reason being is everybody keeps an open mind. I mean, we all know what the history of this is and everything else, but everybody, I believe, is focusing on the wrong things. This child is still missing.
They are, Wicked, and the really unfortunate part about all of it is that there's been no compartmentalizing of. There's been no compartmentalization of these two different cases because what's happening is it's being lumped together. Where if what Unmasked did, unfortunately, last night was she created a realm here on the web where if you support Don and Candace, then you must not care about SA, which is absolutely insane. And not only that. And I'm going to give you some more time to speak. But not only that, what I found was that there's just a lot of people that are continuing to float this bad information. And I'm beating around the bush here. We got a guy who's an ex-cop who's sitting here lying to our faces. He's lying to our faces. He's saying things. He's a double talker. He's backstepping. What do you think about Chris?
He's manipulating the situation. When I went back and I watched that video this morning of that kid dude, you have no idea how that went all over me.
That's sickening.
That was like, yeah. And you want to come out here and act like, I'm sorry, the way that he's approaching this whole case right now, my opinion, but another thing I noticed that I'm going to point out is when he lies, his eye twitches.
Yeah, I've noticed he's a pretty easy read, Wicked. He's a real easy read. And unfortunately, for the people that try to cloak themselves and really be someone that they're not, the real them always shines through, guys. It was almost 50 years ago, Wildflower. It's sad. And the real problem is that a lot of these
for a reason.
Yeah, there's no there's no incentive for these guys to not do what they're doing. The incentive is the money. And for some reason, these law enforcement guys, they come over here and they think that we're slow and we're stupid and that what they're doing is okay, right? What they're doing is acceptable. And that, you know, that we're not smart enough to see that they're clouding and polluting due process. What do you think about that?
I agree. One thing I will say is that one officer that was covering this,
Yes.
What was his name? Duty Ron?
Yeah.
Or what was it? There's two of them. Duty Ron and
Cops
Mike,
off the
I
cuff.
think is Mike. Mike is his name. No, Mike runs his own channel, but he's working with Adventures with the Purpose right now.
Oh, the profiling evil.
Yeah, he totally backed off of the Summer Wells case, and now he's off working with the Ventures of a Person. I believe that is like an awesome thing, just to back away from this. But see, what I'm saying about him is the difference is he's stepping back and letting the TBI and the FBI do their thing, whereas Chris McDonald is coming in and, all right, you got people thinking that Candace and Don were guilty before, but everything that he's putting forward is making them seem more guilty. And let's focus on the parents and not where Summer Wells is, which is diverting the attention off of what really needs to be done.
That's the absolute truth. And you know, these guys, they actually they lie to our faces every single day when they say that this is all about innocence before guilt. That's what this is all about. But they think that we're slow and we're dumb and that we don't understand that all of Tennessee, where every single juror is going to come from if this stays in a state court, whomever it is, let's hope that we get down to the bottom of this thing and Don and Candace aren't involved. That's where my heart is at. But let's imagine that they have enough to put together a circumstantial case. Squall, I'll be right with you in a second, hon. They're able to put together a circumstantial case. They're not going to be able to pick one clean juror out of all of Tennessee because of what's going on right now.
Everything's tainted. Everything is tainted. Everything that he has touched, talked about. And another thing that pissed me off is when he was doing the interview with Candace and Don, you know, he was approaching them like he was being sympathetic and shit. And that was the worst acting I've ever seen in my entire life.
Right.
I would have stopped talking to him.
No, you're right. Hey, Squall, how you doing?
I'm a-doing. How are y'all doing?
We're doing tonight. You got something you want to get off your chest?
Oh, I've got so much I want to get off my chest.
Well, pop your shit, sweetie.
I'm busting at the seams.
You know, I am too.
I'm from, you know, right here in this region. I'm actually from Virginia, right across the state line, but I've lived in Churchill. I've lived all over this northeast Tennessee, back and forth and around. And I just want to say, Chris said that it takes 6 to 8 minutes when a child is reported. And I'm going to tell you, and anybody from this region will tell you that, I mean, you can look it up on maps and everything. It is going to take them at least 30 minutes to get there to the Wells residence where they live at.
Facts.
Regardless, facts. Absolute,
100% facts.
And Hawkins County, it would not surprise me it would surprise me if they had more than 6 officers, you know, working on that evening shift for the whole county.
Right.
Because funding is very low. And there's a lot going on about Hawkins County also with the CARES Act, and they're supposed to bring Wi-Fi to everybody, and I don't think they did that for some reason. I don't know that story. I don't know all the details, but you know, the radio, I mean, you don't get cell service. You blink in and out. And when he was doing that interview when Dawn was doing the interview with Chris, I could tell I could hear, you know, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but a lot of the cutting in and out. And it blows me away. I mean, people say that, you know, we don't like outsiders. Well, look at Proud Nita and look at Chris. You know, that's the reason we don't like outsiders down here.
Absolutely.
Because that's the reason a lot of us don't like them. It's just like, stay away. They don't make anything better. They just always make things worse. And they don't
You're
want to. They
100% right.
and
Does
they don't.
anybody know where he's even from?
I think he's
And
from out west.
San
Is he?
Diego. Is it San
Yeah,
Diego?
I'm thinking
I'm not
so.
positive. I'm not going to swear on it. I think it's San Diego is what I was hearing.
So he made the trip out there just to do all that, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it just, it would be one thing, if he was giving them a platform to find their daughter. He is not giving them a platform to find Summer. He is giving them a platform so he can say, I'm 40 years experience and they're guilty. That's all he's doing. He is not finding Summer. All he's doing is pointing at the past, saying he's guilty because of his past, and everybody's got a past.
Absolutely.
And everybody, I mean, I've got a past. And I'm ashamed of my past. And right now, things that happened in my past is absolutely eating me alive because of this case, because I feel that I know who did. I've contacted TBI. I am going to say that. I have contacted TBI, and I know of several other people that have too, contacted them as well over the same person. And nobody's calling us back.
No, it's that's kind of a synonymous thing, and I don't understand why a lot of these law enforcement agencies, when these kids go missing, they actively hound the public for tips and information, but then when it comes down to it, it's hard to see that they've actually taken action on some of this stuff. I've worked on other cases where. I know people that have had a extremely hard time even taking credible information into a law enforcement agency because there's so many dynamics. You've got this ego thing first, right? And then you've got basically it's all an ego thing, right? You unfortunately, fortunately, I like that TBI put Miss Leslie on as sort of the figurehead of the deal because. It gives it more of a feminine energy, which I think is what you need that little softer, not so sharp energy. Not to say soft, but less sharp energy that testosterone, anxiety, adrenaline-filled men bring to it. So, and that's just my personal opinion. I like the way that it looks having her, doing a lot of the interactions with people now. Could and I'm not here to say that. If Chris wouldn't have kept his track that he was on in the beginning, because in the beginning I applauded him. I'm like, oh man, this guy, he's really doing some helpful stuff. And then I don't know what happened in between. What it starts to look like is, I kind of called this out 2 nights ago. I said, what's going to happen is that he's going to abandon the original mission of looking for Summer or assisting in that hunt, and he's going to take over his sole purpose to be the SA, and that's not why we're here. He's just it seems as if he's just here to get blood, no matter where it comes from and how he gets it. Right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's not a lot you can do with someone like that. I mean, you can petition, you can do different things, but ultimately, it's him holding himself accountable. I mean, we're trying to hold him accountable, and we're having a difficult time. So, I don't know where it goes from here. What do you guys think? Where does it go from here?
It depends on if they stop him or not, or he keeps doing what he's doing. To be honest with you, from the very start, when he first did that interview with Candace, man, the minute he opened up his mouth, I knew he was up to no good. I could see just by his attitude and the way he was talking to her and trying to touch her and make her. Dude, I seen red flags all over that when I first started watching that video. I mean, it went all over me because his intentions were never to help find Summer.
No, it wasn't. I think that this was the design the whole time. And actually, real quick, guys, I want to address Miss Schroeder. She's pinned in the top of the chat. She says, if Chris is doing so bad, can you do a better job? Miss Schroeder, I could do a better job accidentally. And that's not poking fun at I think that Chris is very skilled. I think that he's just been led astray. And so to answer your question, Janice, yes, I am doing a better job than Chris currently because I'm not abusing victims. We are working on getting a bill passed. We don't, of course, it'll probably take years to work on that. But we are trying to get, a stop to the solicitation and exploitation of crimes against children. If you want to solicit yourself to Barry Morphew or to Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell, by all means. But this gentleman here, he built his Dateline NBC career as a law enforcement agent off the back of a 14-year-old kid that was, eventually cut free. And now he's creating this new, he's shedding the old skin and wearing this new skin where he is completely building this financial pyramid off the back of a 5-year-old girl, right? What the fuck can you do with that?
He's so critical of Don's past. He needs to look at his own past.
That's it.
And everybody else needs to pay attention to that because he is so frantic on pointing out Don's past. He's got a past with a 14-year-old kid. I mean, that was child abuse. Straight up child abuse, what they did to those kids.
Oh, absolutely.
But I bet you he didn't serve a day or get charged with it.
No, absolutely not.
My thing is, too, you're retired for a reason. If you were supposed to be in law enforcement doing what a law enforcement agent should be doing, then you'd be on the job. You would not be retired. It's one thing to give your advice when you're retired. It's another thing to step all over a case, and that's exactly what he did.
Absolutely.
Period.
It would have been one thing if he had just interviewed him, talked to Don and done the questions and that with all of them, and then just let it go at that. But coming back on and picking apart, like playing 5 words of what they say and then stopping and picking it apart, that's just mistrial.
I'm not giving Mountain Girl a minute.
Absolutely. Somebody here in the chat just a second ago said that she loves M. Ray said that she loves Juanita. And you know what? We're not going to bash you, M. Ray, for loving, or at least I'm not going to bash you for loving Juanita. But what I'll tell you, M. Ray, is that she has been the complete opposite of helpful as well. She has been bashing victims, walking the road, screaming at the house, running around town, doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Candace so she can get her energy. Come on, y'all.
They lied about Juanita and her team put on Facebook there that it came across a scanner that a body was found.
Absolutely.
And this hurt me because I'm in a group that I can't mention any names and everything because that's part of an investigation right now.
Correct.
Against Juanita, but there is a mother in this private group for families with and loved ones that's more specific. You've got somebody in your family that's missing.
Right.
Cold case. Well, this mother, she calls her neighbor who is her caregiver at the same time. She comes over and she's like, "You got to get me ready. I heard they found a body, just up the road, in another county. Get me ready. And just in case, it's my son." And I'm sorry, I'm going to cry, but this right here is what, really brought me out of the shadows on this case. She got ready and everything. Then she gets the phone call and says, "Oh, they were lying. Juanita was lying about the body."
Of course she was.
Oh,
and
my God.
So here's this mother, she's imagine, and she does this every time she hears a body within 500 miles of her home. She hears of a body in, Mississippi, and she's sitting up here, and she gets ready just in case she gets that call. And she sits there, and she does this every time, and then they lie about that, and here she is, it might be my son. And then she started having chest pains, and they made her go to the hospital. They kept her overnight just for precautions
Jesus.
and everything. And it just, that right there is when, you know, I snapped.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot to be said about that healing process. I've talked, actually, my aunt, she was murdered back in like '97 in Florida, and I went to a lot of it was mothers of murdered children, or yeah, mothers of murdered children. And I went to a couple of the support groups meetings with her, and it was like, you know, some of these people were in there and they had unresolved legal issues, you know, surrounding their child's death. And it was, you know, to watch these families, they get a little hope and it just scratches the scab off the wound again. And, you know, there's a lot, you know, you hear over and over and over, a lot of people, when their family member's case is picked up as a cold case, a lot of times, you know, there might be something new that pops up that gives hope, but ultimately, you know, it's just, you know, sometimes it's just a dead road. There was a stat at some point in the last 5 years where the solvability rate of a cold case was 2%. So, you know, you start looking at the timeline of when cases go cold. And, you know, of course, the initial statistics are, what is it, like 3 hours after the initial abduction, what is it, 90% or 80% of the time that the child is killed. So you start looking at all these statistics and you want to try to play these statistics into how they might work, you know, as moving pieces in this case. And it's impossible now. But guys, what I wanted to do real quick is I wanted to take a second and I wanted to show you the Cold Case Foundation website. I won't be forever on this, but so it said that they are the ultimate resource for homicide, missing persons, unidentified bodies, rape, sex, assault, cold cases with serial characteristics. Now, this part right here is the interesting part that I found about this, because a missing persons case, and this is how I know Chris would verbiage this, is that a missing persons case falls into a certain sort of slippery slope where a missing persons case is always active, but at a certain point it becomes cold. So, you know, what we're dealing with now has, you know, as far as the temperature is concerned, the temperature is still very, very warm, very hot case. This has nothing to do with the cold case stuff, right? So I wanted to go down here just a little bit. And this is an organization that anyone can join. Now, to be considered one of the resources, you have to have some sort of law enforcement or criminal justice background. Now, again, you're looking at all this and it says cold cases, cold cases. It has nothing to do with current hot cases. Now, when you see Chris online, he's wearing this, people. He's wearing this on his chest like a badge. So it's like he's doing business for these people right here online right now. Okay, now we'll go on down. Here's the guys. These are the top brass, right? Now, unfortunately, when I start listening to ex-law enforcement guys saying they got 40 years as any fucking thing, but they've got a situation like this going on, right? Like this Greg Cooper and this Dean Jackson, they know what the hell Chris M is doing, but the reason they allow due process to be interrupted and polluted is because of this right here. Funding, right? Law enforcement need to resolve cold cases is ever present, but the resources and budget to solve these violent crimes are not. Let me tell you what, every department has some sort of funding for cold cases. whether it be set aside and appropriated just for cold cases, or if they put new or your elder detectives on it. That, you know, that there isn't nearly the issue with funding that this website tries to lead you to believe. Now, this is the kicker right here. If you see F, C, T, N, V, right? These are in no alphabetical order. If they were, C would be first, so on and so forth. These are what they specialize in. This is what they specialize in best. First, funding. Second, consulting, training, networking, and the very last here, right? Shouldn't that be over here? Shouldn't that be the first thing that this is all about? This whole thing isn't all about this right here, or this, or this, or this. It's about this, supporting the victims. This right here is a sham. If you want my, let's see here. If you want my opinion, this is a sham, right? Let's see if this is the kind of, let's see. Oh, see, they don't even offer you a tax return receipt for your donation. So that's, you know, that's really effed off.
Did y'all see that nice little Airstreamer that Chris got? That looks. I mean, I think that organization there paid for that.
Hold on there. Let's pull that up. Yeah, he came down here to Dallas and picked it up. This is the one that he does all of his whatever the fuck in, whatever you call that.
Trolling.
Yeah, his trolling in IP harvesting. He does it in this right here. Oh, look at this, guys.
Hey, everybody. Chris here.
He picked this up in March. Right? March? He did all this? Wow. That's awesome. Sweet. Yeah, so to answer your question, there's the Airstream right there, guys. It's his mobile command exploitation center.
Trollmobile.
Yeah, it's the Trollmobile. Guys, so let's see how many people are in here. Man, hit the chat. Hit that. Yeah, it's real custom, Haunted.
Yeah, that looks more. It looks like it's worth more money than Don and Candace's house. You think that he would offer to help him out a little bit? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if Don loses his house like he brought on last night. You know, he's got to cut that house in 9 pieces with everyone else. The Wells are going to need something like this to put all them people in, right? I mean, this would be the thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, maybe.
Oh wait, guys, I wasn't even fucked up. Look, the interview rooms, mobile command center.
Oh hell no! You nailed that.
That's fucking disgusting. I just vomited in my mouth a little bit.
Let's go back to the original point, though. He is retired for a reason.
Yeah, because he no longer, you know, they don't want him anymore.
Yeah, but what gives you the right to come in and stomp all over a case? And bottom line, any way you look at it, he stomped all over this case. You were actually spot on when you said there is going to be no justice.
No, the part for justice is all over with now. That's all over with. There'll be no more justice. Like it's, you know, if there is, guess what? It's not going to be the kind of justice that we're all going to be satisfied with. I'll tell you that right now.
No,
it's, you know, there is no justice. You know, does anybody else want to come in here and get something off your chest?
I'm going to go ahead and jump off. That way somebody else can come on in. And
well, thank you, Squall. You know, we'll be doing this a lot more regularly now, and you are certainly invited every single time. So,
well, thank you. I'll live. I mean, like, if it was a birdshot view, I'd probably live 15 minutes from Candace and Dawn. But with these roads, these boony roads up here, I mean, bird's eye view, 15 minutes, but it would take me about 30 minutes to get to their house. But
Really?
that's how close I am. So it's like I hear a lot of it, and a lot of the stuff that, you know, we do hear, nobody's talking about, you know, in the forums. And it's just everyone's a suspect at this time. They do not have one single person of interest.
Not one.
Not one.
Nope.
No.
Not
You know,
one.
but the way that they counter that is by, you know, throwing out there, well, everyone is a person of interest. Well, you know, persons of interest are you allow persons of interest to travel and you know, do whatever they want to do. When you're a suspect, you get that old thing where they say, hey, if you're thinking about going out of town, why don't you give me a call? You know what I mean? They don't want you to go out of town. They want you to hang close. And so
I agree.
where's
with
the
that.
link? I'm going to throw the link in the chat one more time.
Squall, it was nice meeting you.
Yes, you
I
too.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad I found your channel.
I'm glad you found it too. We love having you around, sweetie.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you.
God bless you all.
Bye-bye.
Somebody just said something, Benny, about, you know, one thing that Chris pushed a lot, and this went all over me too, was I'm not biased. You know, to me, that's a blatant lie.
Right.
I mean, your actions speak louder than words. And like some of us do have our heads together and do see what's going on and see how shady this stuff is that's been happening. I'm so glad that I keep behind the wall. What's their channel name?
Yeah, Voices Behind the Wall. She's great.
Okay. She is. And I mean, I like how they're straightforward. They're giving them a voice, you know, without doing any sneaky shit or manipulating situations. It's totally different. They're
Absolutely.
kind of getting a
And
voice.
you know what? I'm not gonna do a spoiler at all, but I'm not. I'm just gonna let you guys know that tomorrow,
I'm gonna be tuning in.
Yeah, tomorrow you need to tune in to Voices Behind the Wall. She's going to have something pretty big coming on tomorrow. So tomorrow, hopefully, we can get a little traction with what we got going on here in regards to this SA situation. Because what happened was that lady came on, his stepsister. She came on, and although allegedly he had made an attempt on her. She wasn't actually a victim of SA. So I found it a little disingenuous for her to jump online and tell someone else's story. I found that very disingenuous. So I felt like she should have stuck to what pertained and concerned her, and then kept it pushing. But that's not what played out. So tomorrow, hopefully, there will be a great deal of understanding brought into at least the SA part of all of this in regards to the children, and so I think it's going to be a very comprehensive deal. And you guys don't miss it. If you're not subscribed to Voices Behind the Wall with Cher and Mr. Mark, please
Do so.
go now or go after the video, whatever. But go over and see about those two. So
I like chasing truth too, man, because she makes you keep an open mind. You know, I like the way she approaches things, like when she goes back and watches a video, and then she'll ask people's opinion. I mean,
absolutely.
These are people that I want to surround myself with, the people that are actually getting something done with this case other than just pointing fingers and stuff. I mean, you know, they do deserve to have a voice since everybody else has stomped on them from the very beginning of this. And I've always said, what if? And it's a big what if. But what if that baby just was taken off of that property and everybody is diverting their attention and pointing fingers at Candace or Dawn, and that baby just slipped through the cracks?
Well, I mean, let me pull it up here. I guess I may have closed out that other window. let's pull up real quick just to give everybody. Yes, G-Dog, I saw your comment. We will touch on Allie tonight a little bit if I don't want to keep you guys forever. We can talk about her a little bit and, you know, see what everyone's opinion about that is. This is actually a good view right here. Now, if you guys, I mean, I don't have to tell you guys, look at what we're dealing with here. It's like the Amazon jungle, right? Now, they said that she came, they were down here planting the flowers. Oh, and you know what? I want to tell you one thing that I just realized, and actually a friend from, a criminalist from the UK, she pointed it out to me. Now, everyone was having such a hard time understanding what they could have been planting down here, yada, yada, yada. Well, Hunter, he inadvertently corroborated what Candace and Candy had initially said about picking flowers at the swim spot. Now, you could contend that she picked flowers to, you know, sprouts or you know, whatever, she transplanted them to this area. So he inadvertently potentially corroborated certain things just through ignorance, right? Or actually, yeah, the camper is here. I'm sorry. So, you know, if you look at all of this, there is potential from pretty much not a 360 degree, not all the way around, but a good 350. You know, she could have been pulled, and you know, it could have been a way different thing. So that's the locale right there. Now, what I will do is I'm going to pull up. You guys want to watch a little piece of Allie's interview, or would you prefer to take a look at the statement analyzation part 2? Because I've been really itching to talk about that a little bit.
Go ahead, do what you want to do. It's your channel, man. I'm here to learn.
Yeah, let's check that out. We will do. He'll probably strike my channel, but that's okay. We're not in this for the money, so
No.
And we won't do. We'll just go. How long we've been on here so far? We're at an hour right now, so we'll go another half hour or so, guys. Kate, where is Kate? I don't see you in here anymore, Kate. Can you try to come back in again? There she is. I see you, Kate. You're coming in. Hey, and she wasn't lying, guys. She is in the tub. Good evening,
Well,
Kate. Thank you for joining us.
How's
You
it
got
going?
something? We're good. Yeah, she wasn't lying. She was in the tub, y'all. But no, if you got something on your chest, man, get your shit off.
Yeah, no, you can go ahead and pull up that footage if you wanted to. That's cool. I did.
I think you broke up, sweetie.
Yes, she lost sound.
Kate, I think you got a bad connection. Either move to your Wi-Fi or jump off of your Wi-Fi. Call right back in, sweetie. That's usually the answer.
Or she might have got her headphones wet.
If you call back in, it will usually. You there? You might be muted now. Are you muted? I really wanted to hear what Kate. I'm in this for crab legs. Hang up, Kate, and call right back in. There goes the sound. Okay.
She's got no sound. It sounds like when she goes to talk, her K is moving.
Yeah, I see. She's hung up. So we'll go ahead and we'll just call back in, Kate. Yeah. So guys, we're gonna pull up a little bit of this. There she is. That's better.
And then we lost her again.
Advocate Kate, you're in the house. Oh no. I think you're muted. It says you got a great connection.
Can you do anything about her mic?
No, I don't even have control of yours. I hope she didn't drop her.
I use StreamYard because of that.
Now maybe try it on the Wi-Fi, Kate. Try to call back in. I can hear y'all. Sorry. Yeah, there she goes. She's off. All right, so we're gonna pull up a little bit of this here statement analysis from tonight. I guess it was, right? Correct. So I keep doing that. New window. Boom. All right. Yo. All right, here we go, guys. I know this is a lot I got going here. Interview room. Bear with me, guys. I just got a lot of stuff going here. All right, so here we go. Part 2. And we're not going to go deep into it, guys. I just want to kind of touch on a couple of things. We're going to pull this down here so we can, hopefully we can't catch no strike. We will say that this is fair use. This is fair use for education and criticism, mainly education. So here we go, guys. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close it out until bear with me, guys. Where the hell's the sound coming from? Oh, we got 2. Hold on, guys. I had 2 going. All right, let me make
I'm Chris McDonald.
Where the hell's the other one coming
Retired
from?
homicide detective. I've interviewed thousands of people.
There it is, right here.
From serial killers.
All right, guys, I'm back in the game. So, Sly one. Human trafficking is now the #2 crime in Tennessee now. Something fishy is going on with LE. Trafficking ring. It's very easy here. A lot of hillbilly heroin equals meth corruption. Oh man, I hate to hear that shit.
In that area, there really is. I hate to say that, but.
All right, let me see if Kate's back in. There's Kate. Sorry, Kate. Here we go. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, beautiful.
Okay, I changed the settings from default to iPhone microphone, so maybe that's what the difference was.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
yeah, well, what I was trying to say was I love what you were talking about. You and Lizzie were wanting to try to start to do, and I'm sure that there's a lot of red tape with something like that, but don't give up because there's people that have started on this and are determined to not stop. So I mean, maybe it's teaming up with them or getting advice from them. Like, the Watts case. Okay, so that the victim's family, they've gone through hell and high water. Well, because of that, though, so they've got an attorney or several, but they're working just, to try to make changes on social media platforms for the victims and their families. So I'm sure there's a wealth of knowledge right there.
Yeah, I think that this is something that's very long overdue.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I It's so archaic, really. We've got somebody else in the house. Prairie Transparency.
Could it be Prairie Dog?
Let's
Prairie Boy?
see. Let's see. Something that's very long overdue.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean it's so archaic. Really. Hey, Prairie, mute your device.
Could it be Prairie Dog?
There. You got something on your mind, Prairie? Hey, Prairie, you got something on your mind? Get it off. I think Prairie's having some issues here.
Have them to check the settings option and see if they need to enable their iPhone mic.
Perfect. Did you hear that, Prairie? Try that and call back in. So yeah, guys, let's just take a look at a little bit of this bullshit. I'm trying to do it in a way where I don't have it all on my screen. Let me make it small, small, small. Okay. There we go. All right.
No, that's just the way it is. And that's the
Here we go, guys.
nature of our business, obviously. But I tell you, it's very, very effective. And when we apply the principles, there's nothing better.
Well, I can't wait because number one, I know you, I know your integrity, and I always feel like I'm, getting in the back seat of one of the Blue Angels, whenever you're around. So I'm going to sit, we're going to go through this, and we're going to try to get as much as we can.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to him make out, so we'll just move it ahead.
Why would he include summer was by my side?
Here we go.
And I left for work. Instead of saying I left early that morning at whatever time it was, and then be done with it. He answered the question, but his brain went somewhere else. You focused him on that morning, and so he told you not only that he left answering the question, but his mind has now gone back to the most important thing. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. Now, the argument is that, well, we're talking about Summer. Summer's the one that's gone. And so he's remembering that Summer was there by his side. That's a good thing. That's a good thing for a parent to remember. The problem is that there's an indication here when he says I left for work, instead of saying I went to work, his brain has paused there at the point of
First of all, what the fuck is this guy saying? Let's get back to it.
departure, which is his home. Summer was by my side. There's missing information there. That's what that indicates. His brain paused. Instead of moving forward to work, his brain paused right there.
What do you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, it seems like that he was leading them like he said. He left
Absolutely.
for work, but he didn't go to work. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right. He said he left for work instead of he went to work. Like that's
right.
And the other thing that I think that there is some science behind when you hear people saying, the verb words that insinuate or connotate violence, like, the breakdown, or, he gets into some of these words that are actually like, to him, they're red flags that display some sort of physicality. But let's move forward a little bit. We're not going to do this very much longer, guys. I just wanted to give you another way to look at this thing if you haven't already.
And so now what I want to know is, okay, is this critical information, or is it just that he's sentimental about Summer? And by the way, there hasn't been any sentiment about Summer. His emotions have not risen to that level that we would expect.
Now that's
not true.
That's not true at all. He's displayed a lot of emotion. Not only that, but we've all been to funerals where you look, when you see people eating, you'll see people having a good time, and then you'll see people laughing and crying. You get the whole spectrum. So, Don may, the other thing is that in rural communities, in the way that I'm pretty sure Don grew up, Don was probably like me and so many other males in the U.S.
Yeah.
Where you're told, don't you cry, boy, don't you cry. If you cry, I'm a bust your ass. Stuff like that. So
Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah, so that has a 50-year-old man repressing his emotions. Now, but what I will tell you is that there was a pre-recorded interview with Don today on Voices Behind the Wall, in which he did cry.
I thought I saw him crying.
Yeah, so this is incorrect information at this point right now.
Of a
Can I say
parent.
one thing too?
Absolutely.
All right, about Candace. Okay, we're gonna jump to her. She cried more than once also, and she shed more than one tear. But they only focused on that one time at that prayer meeting, and that was it. And everybody had cameras up in her face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And you also have to understand that have you guys ever had such a hard, like, we've all lost someone in our life that's that's important. Hey, Camden, good to see you in here, buddy. Everybody say hi to Camden Hillman, if you will.
Hi, Camden.
He's a good guy, and I'll let him tell you guys in the chat who he is and what he does. But Camden is a good guy.
Yeah, I saw one of Camden's comments, and I totally agree, where he was saying, yeah, but not every word Don says. And I feel like that's where Steve's information lost credibility with me, because I believe in the science 100, but he lost me when every word now is some nefarious, formula now.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Camden, if you're interested in popping up here on the panel, I can drop the link. If you prefer to just remain a spectator, that is cool too. We're going to go ahead and move along just a little bit more here.
In fact, it's kind of been the opposite. He's focused more on his own emotion than emotion about Summer. And so I'm on high.
First of all, I want to retort to that. I think that Don is one of the very few people that has remained focused on just his daughter. He is not focused on his own emotions. He is focused on his daughter. You go look at his Facebook page, and it is all about that little girl. It isn't about nothing else, right? Okay.
To a fault.
That's it. To a fault. Absolutely. Camden is he's going to come up, guys. I really want you to get introduced to Camden, because he's a good guy. So we'll let him come up here, and while we're waiting on him, we will go just a little bit further here. Yeah, please say something simply.
Because you were talking about every person handles grief and things that are going on in their life. I'm going to share something with you guys. My oldest son just passed on the 8th of July.
Oh,
He was 31 years old.
Sorry to hear that.
It's still under investigation. I'm going through my own. This is what makes this case hit me so hard. Now, my birthday was 5 days after he passed, and everybody grieves differently. Okay, I'm fine 1 minute.
At
and
different
the next
times.
minute, I can lose my biscuits so quick.
Sure.
So for somebody to say, well, this is how you act when you grieve, there's not one person that can say this is how it goes, because nobody has the same reaction as everybody.
No, and you know what? That's
very complex.
That's the point. That's the whole point when it comes to grieving. But why are there not proponents of the way that Don is behaving, stepping out like I'm going to now and say, guess what? I'm proud of him for holding his shit together, right? I'm proud of him of still being capable of going to work and still maintaining the finances.
No kidding.
Like, yeah, man, kudos to you, Mr. Wells, for holding your shit together.
I mean, he does have work ethic.
Everybody pointing their finger at you every time you move, and to know what they're thinking, you know what I mean? Just those thoughts going through your head. That's got to be hard for somebody to even hold their shit together. So yeah, I'm definitely proud of him for that. And
yeah,
he's not backing down either.
No, he's not. He's coming straight ahead, and a lot of people A lot of people are telling him, hey, Don, you can't be doing this and you can't be doing that. But guess what? Don didn't make it to the age he is now by being no dummy. So, at this point, there's things that we wish Don wouldn't have said, but the very things that he has said have actually made him more credible, right?
Right.
So if he comes on and he says, yes, as a child, SA was perpetrated against me, and I portrayed that out on my sister because I thought it was normal. He came on and was honest about that. So, do you think he would come on and bury himself in an SA problem only to also be guilty of something to do with his daughter?
Exactly.
No, I don't believe that. Not one bit.
Not for a second, guys. It that's not even close to what it is. So,
and I would imagine most anyone else would have been overly defensive, and I don't see that with him.
No,
I see the normal amount of defending or speaking about it. He's the one person that doesn't bring it up in every sentence. Like, yeah, bring it up, look it over, but then put it in its right place. And let's look at everything else and continue to look for Summer and quit looking for this possible crime that happened and how horrible it is and what we're going to do about that.
Right. Well, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a little bit of, what we're watching is we're watching the interview room. We're watching him develop in real time. He started out one way, and in such a short period of time, he's all the way to this now. What I see is I think he feels slighted, or he feels resentful towards Don because he had the exclusive access to Don, and now Don's come out publicly and said, hey, this guy Chris, no one was looking into Chris until Don said Chris isn't shit. Now we're all looking into Chris, and so Chris has got to be resentful about that. Hey guys, Camden just popped in the building. Let's bring him on and let's let Camden introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm Camden. What's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Welcome, Camden.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys. I'm from around the area here. I'm over the state line from where Don and them live. I actually used to live in Churchill. And me and my wife have been keeping really close eye on this because there's a lot more that's unseen. And I've been kind of in touch with Benny some on a lot of the stuff, and I started out thinking, at the very beginning, I was like, well, Chris might be doing something all right because when he's tried to shed good light on Candace, and then right after that, it totally, the shit went downhill. It was bad. So
so much respect for him when he came out and was being just genuine and true blue with Candace against the world coming after her. That's where he got my respect 100%. But somewhere I feel like he started to gravitate toward all those likes and views and what that opinion was.
Well, it now, like I was saying in the chat, this Steve Johnson guy, every sentence he finds something wrong with.
Right.
Every word that comes out of the man's mouth. Is there things that are not completely, clear about everything? Yeah, of course there is. But the man is probably scared because every word that comes out of his mouth gets twisted.
Exactly.
And got to try to find some outlet like he has been on Voices that's getting his point across, and people are actually trying to listen to him instead of slandering him completely. But
exactly, that's where I feel like he's totally feeding into a narrative. And he also is selling for his very own personal website, and even that would be completely fine. I'd be all for that too. But I'm just saying, if you watch people like Behavior Panel, when they're going through, they give honest, they're going to show I see where that's a little shady, but also people do this and this, or they give you the both. They give you where it could be something and where also sometimes it's not. And they let you make up your mind at the end of the day. They're not just going to give you why it's all this way.
Yeah, that's right. Totally
So-
right.
You
And
think Chris would have somebody on his panel that would disagree with him?
I guess
Right.
so.
Just saying.
Yeah, Camden, tell me a little bit about what you know about local law enforcement there. I mean, as far as do you know
Yeah,
anything?
Hawkins County especially.
Yeah, do you know
Yeah,
anything about the
yeah, man.
conviction rates or issues systemically in the court or with law enforcement there?
I will tell you, because I kind of leaned into this. I've been through the system. I'm not gonna lie about it. I've changed my life. I've been going straight for almost 5 years. I've been, my family become, that was my main priority, and it was time to grow up. I'm 35 years old now, but the police around here, it's once you get a name for yourself, they're coming for you. And there's a lot of under the table deals that go on. It's when you have money. If you get a court appointed a lawyer around here, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. They're not working for you. And It's all about the money you pay out, who you know. And I know firsthand, and I know that to be true down there. My cousins, when I lived in Churchill, my cousins lived down there, and he got in trouble one time, and it was like the police were coming by every other day, harassing him.
Oh, wow.
And it was over something petty. It was over something so petty, like a drunk in public. And it was like, what else can we find on you? We know there's more.
Right.
And but the under the table shady deals, whoever's going to put a little money in the prosecutor's pocket, whoever's going to, because when you pay your lawyer's going to go talk to, your defense attorney. When you pay your defense attorney's going to talk to the prosecutor. He's going to stuff his pocket a little bit, and then it just seems like things get swept under the rug.
Right.
Yeah. So, but this high profile stuff, if you notice today what kind of happened with the school stuff that happened in Churchill today, I don't believe in too many coincidences.
Yeah,
as
that
far
was
as
crazy.
that stuff goes. That's two high profile things that have hit Hawkins County. And there's nothing ever going on there.
Can you give us a short rundown, Camden?
I haven't heard.
It was a hoax.
What?
Yeah.
All right. So
it was a hoax. It wasn't real.
From the local news, what we have heard was first, there was a shooting. Hawkins County released there's a shooting. Police have been dispatched. And when they say police, every single Hawkins County sheriff was there. Churchill, Mount Carmel. Those are two towns that are side by side. Sullivan County, TBI. They were all there, and this was a hoax. It was a kid, they said, that was hiding in the bathroom, that said he had been picked on and bullied, and decided that he was sick of it, and he was gonna do something about it. But when they came on and did their statement on their press briefing today, they were hiding a lot. There was a lot not being said. My wife pointed that out. She said, why do a press briefing if you can't talk about anything? It's
right.
the same thing that's going on.
You're raising our attention to tell us you don't have shit to tell us.
Yeah, exactly. And there was they said they had two people that were taken out in ambulances. One was because of a seizure, and another one, a girl was hit her head running down the hallway. It just didn't make sense, man. Yeah, it just didn't make sense. And nothing else has been said, and that's how it goes around here. Something big happens, and they don't have to say anything about it because they don't have to answer to anybody. It's
curious
wild.
what the response time was.
Well, they said that what was really.
The guy was on the phone, and went into an armed.
Yeah, they said they were on the phone with the call, and an armed sheriff went into the school. But I think they said they had ran drills. They tried to make it sound like it was a drill at first when they did their press briefing, and then it was turned into, well, they did. We're so proud of our officers because they got here in 8 minutes. But and that's another thing I want to say about Don when he was talking about the police. Him being
9,
there first,
right.
He might be scared. He might have said that and he might be scared to backtrack because unless a good defense attorney says, "Let me see them dash cams. Let's see who was there first."
Yeah.
You know, can the man afford a good attorney? That's what. Unless somebody takes it pro bono for a high profile.
Yeah.
You know, I'm worried about that. I'm afraid that Chris is trying to turn around. Well, they're blaming law enforcement. They're doing this. I mean, there's some
It's
things that
okay
he
to
probably.
point out things that
Yeah.
concern you, because
Mm-hmm.
there are things that concern me. Like, did they look at this like, these parents are shady, and did they never even look for other possibilities at
Correct.
all?
Right.
And then it concerns me because this has been so much of a high profile case, and obviously the parents make a great target. Can they just, they can just wrap it right up easy?
Yeah.
Nobody will
Look,
complain.
and if you
Absolutely.
know, go ahead, man. Sorry, Ben.
No. I like the role you're on, Camden, and I want to give you the floor here just 1 second. Deb Dillinger, I posted her in the top of the chat. It says, fact, Chris's YouTube revenue before Summer went missing was under $900 a month. Now his revenue is over $9K a month. Now, let me tell you what happens with this $9K. These guys end up needing more and more salacious content in order to keep this up, because these guys, they don't have a choice. As soon as they see a $9,000 check for 30 days worth of work of sitting on their ass, they will ultimately change something about their lifestyle. They'll go buy something. They'll go, get a motorcycle or whatever the fuck they do. And so now every month they have to make sure that they're involved in cases that are salacious and can create this kind of revenue.
He's saying he donates it all, though. Is what Wildflower just said.
Yeah, this is the other thing. This is the deal. You're not going to jointly run a YouTube channel with more than one person. Not on the paperwork, right? Now, you could be involved in some LLC or whatever, but the deal is that $9,000, it's got to pay taxes on that. Right?
I had something to say. Somebody said in the chat just now that my opinion would be different because I already don't like the law because of my past. That's absolutely not true.
No, that's not true at all.
If you're a good upstanding officer and you're doing your job, I stand behind you. I don't stand 100%. for
let me tell you this, guys. A lot of people know, and I've got some stuff on my channel, but my wife and I, we've been living in the same house now for 2 years. And we were going to buy last year, but of course the market changed, and so we got caught.
Sure did.
Yeah, we got caught in this spot. We're like, well, we'll sign another year lease, right? So we signed the first year lease, and it was almost 2 years ago. And the third day, we found out that the house kitty corner to us, it's a duplex, and on one side they prostitute and sell heroin, and then on the other side they prostitute and sell methamphetamines.
Wow.
And so we're locked in, right? I've got 2 kids. We're active in the community. So I'm a pot smoker, ex-gangster, ex-crook. As soon as I saw my little 2-year-old walking down the street and looking at a condom and a syringe on the ground and saying, "Daddy, what's that?"
Wow.
That was the time that I drove straight to the police station. I said, "Look, I live by a dope house. You don't have to pay me. Just when I call you, come and fuck these people up." And I can't even tell you how many people I've fucked up over there. They call me a snitch online now because, in my community, if you're dealing dangerous drugs, I'm going to put my foot all the way in your ass, right?
I'm a certified drug counselor now. I got certification. I went through the classes because I changed my life. My history is a lot like yours, Benny.
Yeah.
And I've actually talked to officers. I mean, I'm a former needle junkie on methamphetamine and everything I could get my hands on.
Me too.
Yep, me too.
But I went down the straight and narrow, and I did what I had to do to change my life and get certified. And I tried to help other people. And I talked to officers, and got to really know them instead of me. Because yeah, back in the day, I was really like, oh, I can't stand them. They're all out just to ruin my life and all this. And a lot of them don't understand,
But I'm
what
sure
the
some
other
of them
side
cut
looks
you a
like.
break too,
Right,
and made
right.
some kind of an impact that kind of got you on the direction to turn things around.
Right.
That
My
you
kids.
respected in some way.
Right. My kid's school resource officer, man, I admire him so much. I told my wife today, I was like, I'm so glad. That dude told me the other day, he said, I know God called me to protect these children. And he was actually, when I was incarcerated, he was one of the guards when I was in jail. He was a big instrumental in changing my life. But that's off topic. This is, what I was just basically trying to say about everything with how they go is, if you remember the Evelyn Boswell case, they
Yes.
pointed out every lie that mother told. The
Yep.
TBI come out and pointed out every lie. So if Don was lying, best believe they would point it out.
Absolutely.
And,
Thanks. That's a good point.
And I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of high strung. Let me calm myself down here.
No, this is an open forum.
We
It's
all
a
feel
safe,
the same, I believe.
It's a safe,
Yeah.
open forum, Camden, and you can say anything you like. You're our guest.
I appreciate that, man. And it's my wife is, she's an LPN. She never did anything. She's never did drugs or anything. She stood behind me through all my troubles and woes, and she's still here with me right now. And she gets upset because she sees it for what it is.
Yeah.
And but that's why it hurts my heart for that family, because best believe if Don and Candace had money and looked the part, that this would not, wouldn't be going this way. I promise you
scares
that.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a scary situation.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Camden, since you're from the area and you, you're a former addict. There when communities, like for instance, I know in West Virginia, with the opioid problem, they have a lot of services available to people that want the services. In Hawkins County, tell me about the temperature of, let's say, like the rehab facilities. Do you know anything about the methadone? Do they have a methadone clinic? Like, what services are available? AA, NA, what is there?
What's big around here, man, is the Suboxone and Subutex clinics came in out like a storm. But as far as like when you get in trouble for even possession charges, anything like that, you don't have an option for rehab. You don't have an option for to go into any kind of facility to get help. They lock you up, and you don't get. There's no programs after the fact. I mean,
That's no
basically they
good.
can put you in. Yeah, they can put you in drug court, which is ran by the court, and the success rate of drug court is like 5%.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Okay, we have
Yeah.
drug court in our area, and if you have, there's a couple of good judges in our drug courts
Yeah.
that have made really, really good turnaround. I mean, but they employ all of the AA, NA counselors. It's not just one person. I mean, and they go in knowing that there's going to be setbacks. I mean, the whole thing though is geared toward recovery. It's not about, I mean, yeah, there's prices to be paid and you're going to be held accountable, but
yeah,
if somebody truly wants to change and get
they
right,
will. It's
that's
all
a really
about the
good
person.
chance.
And that's what I was getting at. Like, if you do mess up, if you fail a urine screen, you're doing all your time. There's no other chances. Whatever time they suspended,
And it's a
you're
given.
doing.
It's a given. If you're trying to be in recovery, you're going to fail. I mean, that's a part of it until
That's right.
You've got to get that all out of your system. I mean, I don't know what the actual amount of times that you fail, but it's kind of going to need to be built in.
Right.
Yeah,
It can't be unattainable.
Exactly. But as far as like what I was certified in, it's called Living Free, and that's done through the churches around here. I got really really involved with the churches, and they offer that. And now that's one thing I will say about drug court. They refer their people, they make them go to at least 2 meetings a week, and and when those people come in, you can tell they don't want to be there. But that's the job of the facilitator, to make you feel comfortable and not preach hellfire and brimstone to you.
Yeah,
on the
and
first
help
day.
them find their why. I mean, at the end of the day, it's
Exactly.
up to them if they want to grab onto it or not. But I can see where somebody's at the end of their rope and dealing with untreated mental illnesses, you know, either that they had
Yep.
beforehand or that they now have because their chemistry's off. And you come in and because, you know, you're told to do something before you're truly ready. I mean, I think
Yeah, if
the
you're
right
not ready,
counselor,
it's no
yeah,
help.
yeah,
it's no help if your
and
mind's not
physically
set
ill.
to I'm doing this.
Yeah, I think helping these people find their why and that they can have hope is a huge part of it. Not just sit down and listen to me. I'm going to tell you why.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And,
You know,
and
and the other thing that's such a detriment to, you know, I see a lot of parallels in a few of the cases. Well, one other case for sure that I've been helping on, and that's the Orrin and Orson West case. And when you have these, you know, these small town mentality where everybody knows everybody's business. You know, it's the small town politics, small town law enforcement. It moves at a different pace. You know, and it really seems that you know, in a lot of these cases, that technology, of course, is the thing that's going to solve them all, damn near. But it's when the technology lacks that it becomes an issue. Like I've heard a lot of talk underground about all the fundraising that, you know, the funds that TBI have received due to the exposure from the Summer Wells case. They've been updating their technology with it. And that's fact, right? You know, I don't know that those dollars were necessarily earmarked to, you know, further the investigation. One might argue that, like, if you've received
That's
money,
unfortunate.
right? You received money to potentially further the investigation, the search, whatever, you know, on a higher level, a higher intensity. But instead of doing that, you're updating your two-way radios.
Did you catch the video that was of Tim Coop when he was in front of the
Yes,
I think where he was in front of the board,
he
and
was
they
hot.
were pretty much and they were pretty much saying we don't have the funding for this
And deal with it.
and deal with it, and he was taken off of that and everything. That's what I feel like, that what's happening is, well, let's just not say anything and let's see, and they're going to play it by ear, and if it goes away, we'll just let it go away. Because, you know, they were talking about 15. I mean, Chris said it himself, which I didn't understand why you would say that and then try to go against the narrative that people are getting, our children are getting abducted. 15 children since Summer's been her disappearance in East Tennessee. That's crazy. Why aren't we hearing about that? So, I mean,
well, the problem is that you run into what's the lesser of two evils. Do you expose the fact that you have a statewide issue systemically with the, I guess the power of your law enforcement, right? It's, you know, that's it. You know, it's like, okay, do we tell them we can't keep track of our kids, or you know, do we let it loose and receive all the hate and the flack? And you know, it's amazing during times like this where people will hate the family, they'll hate CPS, they'll hate the police, they'll hate everyone online, and it's like, so, you know, what are you doing following this case? If you hate everyone, then you're essentially manifesting an energy some sort of way to doom this thing, you know. But you know, unfortunately,
a lot of misdirected anger.
Absolutely.
Can I ask you a question, Benny?
Yeah.
Okay, I heard you on your video, I think it was yesterday or today. And you were saying you know what an empath is.
Yeah.
You are one.
Right.
What's your gut feeling on Summer right now?
Well, you know, the thing is it's such a hard realm for me to I say fortune tellers. A lot of people have heard me bash. You know, now I'd never said anything about people that have a clairvoyance. What I'm
Right.
talking about is your greasy, gritty, New York, East New York con artists. That's what I'm talking about, right? The people, the Miss Cleo psychics. I do have a feeling, and we all have that intuition. I like to say mine is more of like a father's intuition, because when I get involved in these things, like I will spend a lot of time doing just what I was doing there, just like,
Right.
staring at that child. And when you do that, you start to manifest things inside of yourself, different energies and emotions. And, unfortunately, I don't think it's good, because I'm going to always err on the side of law enforcement and statistics, always, because it's about the time that you feel like one of these is one of those in-between cases, and you need to treat it as such, that you make a fool of yourself online. So my motto is I'll be wrong with the police and the forensic people, because that's good company to be wrong with.
Right.
But, when you look at the statistics, like an abduction, little girl, after 3 hours, statistically, it's through the roof that there's been a death.
Yeah, but it's not 90%. It's not 80%. It's almost 80%. But I used to think that after 3 hours, it was nearly like 99%. But I started looking more into the research and the investigation itself, or what you're supposed to do according to the Criminal Department of Justice. And
correct.
Inside that, there's a wealth of information and stats there. Also with the missing children site, those both have really good stats. But yeah, it was nowhere near as high as I thought. So that gave me some hope.
Yeah, it does. It does. But the one thing that people are like, they'll ask my opinion, and then some people, why I don't like to give that opinion publicly.
They don't want it.
Well, they don't want it, but then they're like, how do you know? And it's like,
yeah.
when you start, you have a child where you've had not one sighting. There's been no one asking for a ransom. I know that sounds silly, but ransoms could be demanded quietly under, you just don't know what's going on out there.
Yeah, from what I read,
it's like a cold track. That's not good. When you have nothing to go on, in my opinion, based on science and stats, not to cut you off, Kate, but based on science and stats, for me, unfortunately, you have to think in terms of a death. Now, this is the thing that I preach in a lot of cases, and here we are. I am a firm believer of trying to work simultaneous, contiguous type investigations. But when you reach a point where you're asked to make a decision on a demise or not, that completely, you're in a fork in the road as far as where you're going to search, how you're going to search, what technology are you going to search with. If you feel like it's a death, you're going to use a completely different set of tools to search that way. If you believe she's alive, well, now you're starting to, scour internet in pedo sites. And so, there's unfortunately not enough, it doesn't sound like enough resources to go both ways. So
that really scares me, because you know how many agencies they spoke about being out and on the ground.
Over 80.
Yeah,
and
over 80.
We didn't get to see that. Now, I understand we don't have to get to see everything, get to know everything, demand this info. I understand that. But it concerns me, because the citizens were not allowed to search. We're still not allowed to search. And it scares me whenever something's this high profile that it has affected the search and the investigation. Like, what if they feel like they can't ask for help? And look at like what happened with Coop. I mean, it scares me. Even just that it's unorganized, it scares me.
But, I'll touch on the search part. The reason why they want people that have at least a limited knowledge on how to navigate a potential piece of evidence, right?
Sure.
I spoke on it earlier. You have the old gumshoe web sleuth, and we're great-hearted people, but I've heard, on the Orson and Orrin West case, they'd find a bone in the desert, and they'd pick at it with a bone, and they'd pick it up with a piece of paper, and once you've done that, you've completely compromised it. So
can I
go ahead?
I just what I was want to. Me and my wife had talked about this too. You're talking about the searchers. There is people around here, they're bringing these people in, even EquiSearch. They're not familiar with this kind of land, and
no,
there's people around here that live up in they walk these hills, mountains. It's not too far fetched to say that somebody's going up the side of a hill, and the community around here would be great to search that area because they live in this daily. And they walking up and down these hills. They go hunting constantly. A lot of people run coon dogs in the middle of the night around here, and they stay out all night long. And there's a lot of people that are good at that. And I wanted to go back to what you were talking about, a father's intuition. Why is it so far fetched that Don, when he comes home and he sees these things, when he knows his routine of his daughter, where she goes, how she plays, and everything, that he can't say that I had that feeling in my stomach. She's gone.
That's it.
She's
it's a father's intuition.
I have related with that from the get-go. When he said that spoke right to me. I could see that coming right out of my mouth, that I'm arriving home and so I see something, like, for instance, my neighbors out at the end of the street, for example, and that's when it hits me. This is a done deal. She's way gone. This isn't just lost in the house.
Yeah. Let me touch on this real quick, guys. Now, we were told 15, right? This is the CEO or the Midwest charter keeper, I guess you could call him. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So we've got 16. Right?
16 what?
We've got 16 searchers from Midwest.
Okay, from Midwest. Okay,
EquiSearch. Right? So the confusing part, I mean, when you look at this and you just deduce really quickly, I would say clearly they're in front of a hotel. But when you look at the personnel here, and I'm just being honest, I'm not putting anybody down.
No, I get you.
Look here. This is what you're dealing with right here. How many of these people, I mean, they made a big think about all this. How many of these people actually, they don't live there. How many of these people look fit to do that? Right. So I'm going to point them out, right? And I'm not having fun. Maybe this is the trolling part. So I'd give this young lady, this young lady, she's good for 20, 30 minutes.
Well, 30, the heat alone.
30, 45 minutes. She looks scrappy. She probably go an hour.
Since I hike, can I put my 2 cents?
You see what I'm saying? Like this isn't like a
well, I mean, they were saying
they were at the Mexican restaurant by 6 o'clock that evening.
Eating dinner.
They was more worried about eating than searching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's it. Sorry.
Which they needed their breaks and they needed their food. But when you have one day only, I mean, I don't see how they could have reconned in a day.
Well, so let me tell you this. These folks, you heard it because this gentleman, he did an interview opposite of Tim Miller, where each of them spoke about their relationship.
Duty wrong.
Yeah. This gentleman here, they've been having issues with funding. Same as Tim Miller. They've been having funding issues too, but not like the Midwest, right? So this, I'm just keeping it real, guys. All of this right here, all of this was to get funding for the next one. Not for this one. They came out, they made a show. She even packed a pistol on her hip right here to come out and make a show. Look at these people. They didn't look like they got bit up by anything.
Bro, he Duty Ron even turned it. He did 2 shows on there that was completely, he didn't talk about anything he found, and it was more like how good him and Dave Rader were getting along, and every bit of money that came into that channel went to them. That was what it was doing. And then they left town.
That's it.
I noticed.
Yeah.
That.
Well, fundraising is needed. So, I mean, I can't poke at that at all. maybe too,
but
they couldn't talk about, because it was said that, well, what was the
but I
reason
saw
that
where is it needed that the team leader tells who he thinks committed the crime?
I did not
I
like
noticed.
that. So once that
Yeah,
was said and they were outright accusing the mom, how could they dare say that she didn't greet them warmly enough? And it's the, first time a parent's ever not just dropped to their knees at thanks. I'm sure she was thankful, I'm I'm sure they're thankful, and I'm sure they don't know how to act. They
Chris
see
admitted
and
that
know
she
that
did. She
they're,
was.
it's no secret how they feel about him. He just aired it the whole, the night before.
But he went on there, and they said, and they even asked Dave Ritter. They said, "Who do you think is responsible for this?" And he blatantly said, "The mother did it. She did it. She had to have done it. That's who I think." And I was like, and I was sitting there watching. I said, where is it that the head of search and rescue is putting in? I mean, why is that even needed? Well, that's a very,
Like a
very strong
prosecutor.
statement to make at the very beginning of something.
Really
I mean,
is.
yeah. But I mean, that aggravated me. But
And I mean, the people have background in it, so I mean, I would want and respect their opinion. But with
yeah,
Tim Miller, when the same issue was spoke about, Tim failed to mention that, hey, most of the times when I'm doing these cases and it's little kids, it's his parents or it's the family somehow involved. But he failed to say, but it does happen, just like with my daughter. He failed to say that. So when I see things like that, I can't help but feel the bias.
and why is it like I don't want to get off of this, Benny, this subject right here, but why is it so hard to believe that they gave? I wanted to add this. At the very beginning of these press conferences, the Sheriff Lawson said, the family has cooperated 100%. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to even go file for one search warrant. They let them
Facts.
in their house every time without,
Facts.
and I mean, he admitted that. And so, and then why is it so hard to believe that they didn't get their phones back? If you're sitting there saying, "Come in my house, here's my phone, do whatever you need to do." Why? I mean, that's why I think that they're being quiet, because they don't have him. But there's so much speculation on YouTube. And, like you said, there's people, I'm not going to throw names out that are, somebody said at the beginning, there's old Don B that has a channel. I mean,
Oh
he's
my
been proven.
goodness.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
clickbait.
It
Don't
irritates
even
me
get me
so bad.
started on that one, please. We got too many things to cover.
But
But I mean,
there's a whole audience for that type of drama, though, and that's what's also so aggravating is it's not just the creators that do this, but it's the audience that not just watch, but egg them on and tell
encourage
them
it.
how wonderful they are, and it just feeds
He
right into
literally
it,
had
and
a
it's
video
And then they get
yesterday that
on here
said,
and they
"My
go,
car
"Oh,
broke
I'm
down.
sorry,
Donate
all
now."
my haters." It's still boosting their algorithm, though.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? I don't want to keep you too much longer. We're right at 2 hours right now. So how does everybody feel about jumping in tomorrow evening and picking right kind of back up where we
yeah, it
left?
sounds
And
great.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
totally down.
Tell us what time to be here. I'll be here.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll create a live and where it'll be scheduled and everybody can go ahead and set a reminder and we'll pick back up where we left off because I really want to I want to see if we can go through some of that part 2 of the statement analyzation and really get a feel for the relationship between Steve and Mike. I think that's that relationship right now is like the celebrity true crime relationship that we're all watching. So
Right,
I think that it's I want to get a real good feel for
and I want to talk about the search and the investigation from the Department of Justice standpoint too, like what they line out for investigators to do and such. I want to talk about that and compare that to this case too.
Cool.
So just everybody just bring all your stuff and how is
cool
how is
I'm
probably
gonna
about
do notes and everything tonight.
do it.
I'll have
Do
my
it.
little white lord.
I've
And-
got a whole board of stuff.
Tomorrow, do you know what time Behind the Wall is doing hers? Because we should come on after that so that we can.
Yeah, I don't want to conflict
good.
with. I don't want to conflict with anything she has going on. So
Right.
yeah, she actually just emailed me right now, so I will find out what time she's doing her thing. I think she told me earlier, so we'll just schedule around them, and then we'll jump back on and we'll tear it up.
Sure.
I want to
Sounds
tell
Man, I
everybody
appreciate
thank you.
this so much.
Absolutely.
Really, Benny.
I want to tell everybody thank you for the warm welcome, especially you, Benny. I appreciate that so much. This was really good. I had a lot. It's been aggravating me so bad to get some points across and just to talk. So this was. I really appreciate it.
I understand.
It's really nice to meet you, Camden.
Yeah,
we're gonna do a lot more of this now that we're kind of caught up with the tech part.
And nice to meet you too, Simply.
Yeah,
nice to meet you guys.
Everybody get acquainted, and we will try to make it back. Again, I'll let everybody know, and we'll schedule around share, and we'll get it popping tomorrow, guys.
Sounds like a productive night.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody.
All right.
I love you individually, and remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Love you guys.
Stay home, stay kind, spread one love and good vibes.
That's right.
Okay, good night.